Hey guys, welcome back to the old shop floor here. We're gonna pull out this fourth bearing, the needle bearing. I've never pulled one of these out before, so I'm kind of on a wing and a prayer here that I've measured correctly and ordered the right one. I'm 99% sure, but you know my luck. Anyway, so let's see what we can do here. Let me get this expanded in here. Now, poking around with my gauge, I should have enough room in there to grab hold with this. So we'll find out. Not sure how far I can go with these to expand them. Don't want to break the tool. I'm also trying real hard not to ruin things. She's close. That's about as far as I want to go. Okay. That'll work. There we go. Lots of threads. And back you off. All right. That was a 12. Yeah. You behave yourself. There. I need another hand. Damn it. Ha-ha! Take that. Ooh, I felt it loose. Let's see if she comes out. You guys even see anything? Yeah. Yep, seal's walking. Whoop. At least it did. Nope, it's still going. Okay. How does that look, by the way? It's pretty good. Doesn't look like it slipped or anything. There we go. Slow and steady makes it slip. These are killing me. Need a better shop. That's what the lesson here is, kids. Get the shop you think you need and double it. Try and expand this a little more. Find a little more comfortable position too. Let's see. Yeah, that fits much better. All right. Now we should have a good grip on the back side. For all you 5th graders out there, there's an innuendo for you. Good grip on the back side. Let's jack this bearing. Give her a good tug. There, that should satisfy you fellas. I'm sure you can find some more in here. Should make it a drinking game, right? Since we're all locked down. What stupid shit do I say? Pardon my French. Come on up. Up there. This thing is such a balancing act. Come on. Oh, girl. It's a lot more quiet out right now, isn't it? In the shop. I don't have the swamp running. It's because it's morning. Still hasn't gotten ignorant hot yet. By the way, we got to 100 yesterday. Happy May 1st, everyone. Summer's knocking. There she goes. It'd be great if I saved the seal. Keep it as a backup. There's the seal. Come on, bearing. Whoop. So I got 3 out of the 4 bearings yesterday. I went to Bearing Belt and Chain here in Phoenix, and they had the ball bearings, but not the needle bearing I need. The HK whatever, something or other. I forget the numbers on it. It's in the first video. I'll put it in again in this description too, the bearings. But so those are on back order, and the reason why I did that is because I ordered from VXB.com, all 4 of them, and that was on Sunday. They didn't ship it till Thursday, so that was a little disappointing. Still, let's center dish. Good enough for the girls I run with. Ooh, she's slipping right out now. Anyway, so it's shipped. It's gonna get here, I think, Monday. The package from VXB. So I've got extra bearings if I ever need to do this again, either on the red or the blue. Hooray! Well, that walked out right nice. I'll have extra bearing. Let's get this off. Yeah, get it off. That. And there is that. All right, good deal. Probably did not need to do this. The only reason I'm doing it is because I had this apart once before. It says HK 2512. Hopefully that's what I ordered. We shall find out. But anyway, the reason why I did this is I had this apart once before and cleaned it up as best I could, but my concern is that I've got that clutch material in there grinding away at this bearing, and this would be the only one that I would have not replaced. So that's why I figured, let's take care of all four, let's get it good, so I don't have to deal with this again for a while at least. But anyway, on to the next thing. All right guys, here we are a couple days later. I got us set up over at the press, getting ready to shove some bearings back in. Good news and bad news. Good news is my order from VXB got here. My bad news is it was incomplete. They indicated they shipped everything, but they did not include the 6006 bearings. So I sent them an email as soon as I opened the package and asked them, hey, will you please send these as soon as possible? So in any case, we're going to jive right in here and get going. So I've got a total of 4 bearings to replace. I'm replacing the ones in the clutch here because, like I said, while I'm in here, I don't trust them. Might as well, and so forth, right? So the first one I'm going to stick in is this 6903. Is that right? Sorry, 6309. No, 6903. That goes in the shoe side of the clutch, right? So, and originally, to get this one out, I didn't record it. This was one that I had taken care of with my brass punch, right? So, basically, you start in the back side, and you just walk around the inner edge and drive it out, okay? So, for those of you that are attempting this for yourself, the rest of you, I'm sure that's oh, duh. So, in order to support this pulley, you can see it's concave, and I don't want to be pushing on those outer lips trying to drive this bearing in. So I'm just going to take the old nasty bearing, set it right there, and we'll drive right in. So that should get us close. All right, I'm going to grab a seat. And the bearing. You know I lost it. Oh, where did I put that stupid thing? Ah, I was sitting on it. Dummy. All right. So let's get in there and push this thing out. Now this one also has a circlip groove and a shoulder that it seats against. Before I get too wild, I'll give this one good final wipe out on the inside here. Make sure I got all the nasty. There, what do you think? Look good? All right, I'll set this back underneath. I'll set you. That's interesting. Just slips in. To a point. Okay. All right. I thought it was friction fit. So, in any case, it's down in. There, you guys can see it's seated, hopefully, to there. Now you can see it's down in-ish. It's not in its final spot. You don't see the groove where I can stick the C-clip. So, now those of you who are following along because you own one of these, I'm going to use a 7/8 socket in order to push this in to that shoulder. So that seems to be about the closest thing that I have that's going to get me down there. So, and be able to come back out. That's the other key. All right. And down she goes. All right, that's seated. Keep that right there. Yep. And you can see that groove now. Let me stand up, make sure you guys can actually see. But you can see the place where the C-clip goes now. So, very good. All right. Why don't we do that quick? All right, guys, so here is the C-clip that goes in front of that bearing. I figured I'd reposition and make this easier for you to see what I'm doing. But honestly, I took it out and left it on the tool. Had no need to remove it from the tool because there's a second C-clip like this that I have a second tool that worked a little bit better for. So in any case, whatever works for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this in there gingerly. There we go. A little bit of crud or something floating around in there. All right, so there's that. One final shove down, and it is in completely. All right, so 1 out of 4. Let's do number 2. Okay, so now we're back over at the press. Now what we're gonna do is shove that needle bearing down in there and then cap it off with a seal. So this one, I actually need to be careful with and not drive it all the way down in. I'm gonna wanna give myself a little bit of clearance. So for that, what I'm going to do is actually mark the thing that I'm pushing with, which in this case is going to be a 21mm socket. So anyway, let me make some measurements quick and get this thing marked, and I'll come right back. So here's the replacement needle bearing. It's a HK 2512. One thing of a note, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this or not, but one side is thicker than the other, right? So you can see the bottom here is very thin. The top is considerably thicker. That's also the side that has the lettering, the HK 2512 there. That's the side you want to be pushing on, the one with the meat, all right? So, what I'm doing right now, just giving her the old grease, getting her slippery. I figured I'd take advantage of having it out and pack it quick as best I can. I'm making too much of a mess. I've seen a billion videos on how to pack wheel bearings and stuff, right? Like the taper cone wheel bearings and stuff. Well, I'm not sure how you're supposed to pack a wheel bearing. I'm just gonna keep pushing it in. There's another one for your 5th graders who like your innuendos. Pretty greasy. Let me wipe off here. Since I only really care about the grease on the inside of this thing. Alright. Let me clean me up. Sorry, hang on. There, practically good as new. So now I want to be super careful and not touch the clutch media with my greasy fingers. So I'll be okay touching the belt section there. I'm gonna wipe that out good with some brake cleaner. So there, that's all looking good inside, ready for action, cleaned up on the outside. Again, there's my lettering, so I know I'm pushing from the right direction. So we'll set that right there. Let this back up. All right. And then finally, I marked my pushing device. I don't know if you guys can see that there. It's right there, that dark line in between the two silver. It's 16.5 millimeter. So that's how deep the bottom of the bearing would go, which would be incorrect for how deep I want my tool to go, right? Okay. Good thing I realized that. Let's see. How wide is this? So, about 12 millimeter. So it's 16.5 all the way to the bottom, minus 12, so that'll be 4.5. Right? Come on, you guys are here to help, aren't you? Keep me straight. There's 4.5. All right, let me mark this again. Hang on. Because I do remember that seal sits flat. Or flush, I mean, with the housing there. So yeah, that 0.5 millimeter would be the gap we would need. So that makes sense. So there's my revised mark. Hopefully you can see. There it is. All right, so let's try this again. And if it fails, no fear. I have another couple wheel bearing or needle bearings coming from bearing, belt, and chain. So let's go with some mayhem here. squared it up for me. Now let's get the rest of this lined up. There it goes. All right. Probably can't even see that. You can see it's cruising on in, but one mistake that I need to fix. I don't see my mark. There it is. I think I wiped it off by mistake. Dun, 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 dun. Never said I was any good. If anything, it's something to laugh at, right? Watching this knucklehead bumble his way through. Now I can see my mark. All right. You guys see it okay? Tighten the jack down. Try and keep it out of the shot for you there. And it just walks right on down. I need to watch it from this angle. Make sure I don't go too far. And knock stuff down. There we go. All right, how's that look? We're close. Almost. There we go. One more little scoosh. Perfect. Good enough for the girls I run with. Relieve that tension. And voila. Second bearing is seated. The letters are there. We pushed it the correct way, so it should not be bent. Let's get that seal in there. Now this, somewhere in here, I have a seal driver kit. Oh, there we go. Maddox, not a sponsor. So, there's the smallest driver I have. Really, I just need something flat. Might as well use the correct tool. So. Okay. So, standard double lip seal. The original one that came out was a single lip, so a little bit of an upgrade here for this. And the reason why ultimately I wanted to drive this in using this seal driver is because it needs that little bit of gap in order to keep the grease flowing around. It can't be pressed flush against the bearing. It needs that room for that flow, if you will. I say that too much, don't I? If you will. It's like my tick. Just yell at me for that in the comments. I'm sure you will now. I always count on you guys. Oh, here we go. I switch hands, so maybe you can see. And it just goes boop. Your sound effects are optional. Okay. So that is in there nice and flush. There is sufficient gap though. I think I'm going to bottom it a little bit more. And that's where the other side of this comes into play. It has that little bit of a taper, if you guys can see that. So that's going to allow me to keep it centered and push it all the way without going too far. So there. So I don't know if it caught it, but the whole thing shifted over and seated because of that taper. It lined up. Whoop. All right. And now you can see it's just past that bevel. It still has a little bit of a gap between the top of the bearing and the seal itself. I'm extremely happy with that. Good job. High five. Let's have a beer. All right, guys, so while we're set up here, I figured I'd go ahead and push in the remaining two bearings, the 6006s that I got from Bearing Belt and Chain. The one is going to go in here. This is the one that's captured and bolts on the crankshaft side. This is the one that actually got destroyed. I had to beat out the outer race from this, and that's how you see these booger marks. Beauty marks, apprentice marks, we'll call them. So, but I got it out. It's relatively unscathed. It's, again, good enough for the girls I run with, right? So, I'm gonna run with this. Let's go ahead and push that next bearing in. So, this one again, I'm gonna use my handy dandy bearing and race driver. Just looking for the right one. That one's pretty good. Let me wipe it off a bit. So, a little bit more chunky. That's going to get me flush. And then, let me go grab a different one. Because I need one that's going to take it farther. I don't know if I have a socket big enough. Maybe I do. Hang tight. Let me go find a socket. Okay, I think I figured it out. So, problem is, this bearing with this driver fits just perfectly on the inside of the lip there, right? I can't push with this. The next size up I have is far bigger, right? It overlaps, but then this side does the same thing, right? It won't let me push down in. So what I've figured out is the Honda Odyssey. It has a rear wheel bearing, a 6205, that I just happen to have laying there. It works right nice, as you can see. That'll give me that teeny bit of purchase that I need to push. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to get it down flat, and I'll use this to drive it the rest of the way so that I can get the C-clip or circlip or whatever that clip is you want to call it, shoved in there. All right. Before I get too much farther, let's go ahead and switch this up. Get it up a little higher for me. Don't want those dropping on my toes. All right. There's that. So for you fellas out there with a sniper that is trying this for yourself, I don't know what to tell you as far as what to use to push this in. It was a Harbor Freight bearing press kit, the race driver set that I'm using, and not a sponsor. It was insufficient, unfortunately. So anyway, for now, let's go ahead and just drive it down flat. Get her down there. That looks good. I'm sure you can't see a thing. That smushes right on in. Let's pull this out. And this one again, we're just gonna drive on down to the shoulder. It has a shoulder that's gonna stop it so that there's clearance for the clip. There, that's it. It took a whole lot of grunting and groaning. Probably, yep, it's down. Probably could have done this with the arbor press over on my bench too. But that looks nice. I'm quite happy. Hopefully you can see. Yep, there we go. It looks much better. All right, so now for the clip. Okay, so for this one, I prefer this other pair of pliers I've got. These are reversible. They've got this neat little swing. You swing it one way and then close them. That reverses the action, right? So squeezing spreads for an interior, flip it over, you can see it now compresses, which is the setting I need. So I'm gonna get that loaded up. Whoa. And this should be comical. I will not deny that. I'm not expecting anything but hilarity with this. So, safety squints on. I don't want to see anybody getting hurt here. Try to squeeze that in there. She's in most of the way. And there it goes. All right. Everybody okay? Good job. Cool. All right, guys, here we are back to our fourth and final bearing. Before I forget, here's the bearing that I got from Bearing Belt and Chain here in Phoenix. It's a Koyo from Romania. 6006 C3 is really what I care about. The higher the clearance number, the better heat tolerant it is. And that's why I wanted to put in these C3 bearings, at least to see if they hold up better. That in combination with the changes being made with the recoil shaft, which is something I forgot to mention. So it turns out that was so out of center. I believe that's what killed it. Adam called me from Section 8 and said he was going to have to lay down a bead around the entire perimeter and then machine it back to true size to get it back into round. It was so wonky. He said it must have been beer 30 over there in China somewhere. And somebody got in a little bit of a hurry. Which, hey, happens to the best of us, right? So, can't blame a fella. Accidents happen. It's just, why was it me? That's my luck, though. So, there's the old girl herself. You can see the C3 there, nice and proud. Laser etched. Okay, so since this has the painted face here, that's why I was going to go ahead and use the towel. Just seat it. Got my bearing. Got my race tool. Also, I'm holding this so oddly because it has this gasket that I can't get. It's out of stock, and I don't want to have to pull the dowel pins and throw it on a scanner and photocopy it and make my own and whine. I just don't want to do that. I'm feeling lazy. So I'm totally fine reusing this. I don't know if you guys can see. Hopefully you can, like that. Watch those bolts there protruding from the bottom. Don't want those to impact the cover here. In mine, if you noticed, I keep pushing it to that side. I need to put like a piece of guide plastic in there or something to straighten it out. All right. I'm gonna stand up. You guys can see better than I can. All right, let me support this. I think this is going crooked. I'm gonna stop it. Straighten it out. And down she goes. Alright, so that's kind of it bottomed. Get that up the whole way. I don't think I can take it much farther. Probably use this bearing again, I guess. There we go. All right. So just going that little extra nudge to make sure I'm down on that shoulder is all. that's down. Okay, brand new bearing in its new home. Now this one had that retaining plate, right? So it has the plate that goes over top and it's held in place with these two screws. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, so let's put these screws back in and make all kinds of racket with my plate there, arbor plate. So before I put them in, I'm a huge fan of this stuff, the thread locker blue. Not a sponsor, but in an application like off-road vehicle like this, especially if something buried in like this component is, I very much prefer to include some sort of a thread locker like this. Nothing permanent per se, of course. I'm sure I'll be back in here someday. But I would prefer the peace of mind of, yeah, that thing's really not going anywhere. We'll just, that will do, ya. And incidentally, these are size number 3 screws, or size 3 bit, I should say, on this screwdriver. Because you want to get them snug and not strip it. So, hooray, my bearings have been replaced. Now if I had my shaft from the machine shop, I would be able to put this thing together. So, I think that's a good spot to wrap it for now. So the next video is going to be me taking the kibbles and bits and sticking them back in and getting this thing running again. So be sure to tune back in for next edition. And thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care.